Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
What up there, everybody? Welcome back to a new episode of One Mic, where I watch shit so you don't have to. And today I'm here to talk about the fourth episode of season 4 of Snowfall, entitled Expansion. So like I've been saying up to this point, I've been pretty impressed with what Snowfall's been doing. They found a way to make the Teddy and Gustavo storyline interesting. They found a way to make it make a little bit more sense. You know, like I was saying before, I've been thrown off by how every time we cut to that storyline, it's kind of like you got to recalibrate yourself. Like, where are we at? What's going on? But they've done a good job of maintaining interest in that storyline. And last week I was saying that, you know, I wonder how they're going to keep this going, because they seem to have wrapped up their whole issue with this sheriff. But now they've escalated it even further, because now they have issues with Beirut over his fucking guns. I'm like, man, Terry is going through it, man. And then you got Gustavo. I guess apparently his niece and nephew are with their I guess aunt, their mother's sister. And she tries to get him to stay. He won't have it. But I'm really interested to see how Terry's going to handle this situation with these guns. We all know, even Avi knew, like, Beirut's not one to fuck with. So I'm curious to how they're going to handle that. But really, the bulk of this episode, again, exists in Franklin's world. We see Franklin putting more people in harm's way. We see a further wedge being driven between Franklin and Leon, which that just hurts my soul. But we see Franklin's mother continuing to do business. Well, actually, both her and Franklin doing business with this Paul Davis guy. I guess it looks like they're going to buy a church. And the whole idea is, like, you know, she wants to go legitimate to get Franklin out of the game. Franklin's still working with Reed/Teddy. And it looks like he wants to try to get out too, but he's going about it in a ill-advisable way by trying to accelerate the timeline of him getting out of the game by expanding his business, because like he doesn't have enough shit on his plate already, right? He's fucking walking around on a cane. He's getting shot at, dealing with this war with Scully and Manboy, losing people left and right. His homeboy has been driving him around, quit on him, and his response to this is to, let's expand the business. Again, I feel like this season is going to be looked at as like the season of Franklin fuck ups. Like, man, he's made a lot of bad decisions, but he's seemingly trying to do the right things, kind of, sort of. It does seem like he wants to get out of the game, but he doesn't want to tell his crew. So it looks like they're going to expand into Little Rock via a friend of Louis. Jerome wasn't really a big fan of that, but I'm not really too concerned about any wedge being driven between them. But you do have to remember too, whatever that was last week or the week before, when Manboy kind of dropped an idea like, yo, things was going smooth till Franklin came back, and now Jerome's looking like shit. Now he wants to go to Arkansas. Like, so there could be a wedge between Jerome and Franklin that we could be seeing coming up soon. So the most interesting aspect of last night's episode was everything that went on with Leon. Leon's my favorite character on the show. I love the fact that, like, yeah, he's a hothead, and yeah, he makes a lot of bad decisions, but I love the fact that he's, like, fiercely loyal, right? And you could tell that this whole beef with Franklin really, really troubles him. But he's so stubborn. So he's sticking to his guns. And the episode opens up with Leon and his crew getting some food. They run across Wanda, who's trying to sell that fucking tooth, man. And it's funny because the episode opens with her holding the tooth in her hand. Immediately, I out loud, I'm like, she's better not try to sell that fucking tooth for crack. Sure enough, anybody want to buy a tooth? But she tries to sell the tooth to Leon. He gives her some loot. He doesn't take the tooth. And then he goes to get some food. And Wanda actually spots Scully and his crew rolling up. And she warns Leon, and they open up fire. Leon gets away. Wanda gets shot. She doesn't die. You know, she ends up in the hospital. So already Leon's got a consequence where, you know, his ex-girl, whatever, is now in a place to, is she going to live? Is she going to die? Whatever, right? So he's got that guilt hanging on him. Like, and also that guilt also is kind of on Franklin, because Leon didn't do shit to Scully. they were coming after Scully because of Franklin. So that's kind of like, that can be another reason why Leon could want to separate himself from Franklin, or even worse, seek out some sort of action toward Franklin. Thankfully, none of that happened in this episode, but the episode kind of comes to its apex at the end, ironically, because Leon hires a private investigator to get information on Scully, find out where he goes. He finds out that Scully visits his grandma a couple times a day, drops off a bag, probably his money, where he keeps it. They go over there to hide out. An ice cream truck goes, not an ice cream truck, but like one of those push truck carts, ice cream cart, crosses in front of his car. A car coming down the street has to stop, and lo and behold, it's Scully and his, it's not Scully. Scully's not there. Scully's crew. And they recognize Leon, and they all open fire right, cars right next to one another. Already, I'm concerned, like, man, is Leon gonna die? What's gonna happen? And Leon comes out to finish the job, and he notices a young woman crying in the back of the car holding a shot, probably dead child. And if that's not enough for you to come out of this episode like, shit, man, now Leon's got a dead kid on his conscience. I don't know if y'all have made this connection, not connection, because it was pretty clear in the first episode, but that was Scully's baby mama, and that was Scully's kid. Furthermore, if you remember in that funeral scene in the first episode, Scully's baby mama is also Man-Boy's sister, which means that's his niece. So he killed Scully's kid / Man-Boy's niece. Leon is fucked, bro. Like, he fucked up everything for everybody. And it's Franklin, and here's the thing. Here's what's going to drive the wedge. Franklin warned him. He's like, you can't just roll up in there busting shots. We got to work on this together. But Leon being stubborn. Nah, man, you got anything else to say? Franklin dips. Like, so when something happens, which I still think is probably going to be Leon's demise, that's going to weigh on Franklin. Both of them was too stubborn. Franklin should have pushed a little bit harder. Leon should have been a little bit more accepting of the help. And this division has now escalated things to heights that it should not be at. So what I'm really appreciating here with this show is they're doing a lot of, kind of like what I was saying about Gamora, how Gamora tends to keep a really good pace in every episode, in a not necessarily a cliffhanger, but in a way that makes you want to watch that next episode right away. And Snowfall seems to have adopted that to a degree. They've done an excellent job of moving this story along, not too slow, not too fast, ending each episode well. Like, I like how we didn't need, granted, they ended the episode with some heavy duty shit, but like, we didn't have like bombshell, but we got good movement in each storyline. We got good movement with Teddy. We got good movement with Franklin trying to expand and get out the game. We got good movement with that reporter. Her name escapes me right now, Linda, something like that. She finally meets up with old boy from Tony Marino from season, I don't know, 2 or 3. Finally meets up with him. So now that aspect of Franklin's problems is going to escalate now as well, because now she's got the information about Teddy and all this kind of shit. So now he's got an investigative journalist coming after him on one side. He's gonna have Scully and Man-Boy coming after him on another. He's probably gonna end up with shit going on in Arkansas. Like, it's all bad right now for Franklin. And I like the fact that this show is finding a way to continue to build up that tension and that drama, and that just something crazy and really fucked up could happen at any moment. They're continuing to build that up while still paying off with like big time scenes. Like, so I don't know, they're structuring it really well. They're pacing it really well. They're building up for some, like, what's got to be some monumental shit coming up. And these first 4 episodes have been great. So already, after 4 episodes, this is probably going to be the best season of Snowfall. And it's going to be a hell of a ride. So I'm really enjoying this one. I'm really excited for episode 5. Like, man, what the fuck's going to come out of this? So much to see. Great work. I didn't have any issues with like any editing or transitions in between scenes. They seem to have solved that. It doesn't feel jumbled anymore. It doesn't feel sloppy. It doesn't feel like Teddy's storyline is getting it's getting less attention because the show's about Franklin. So you get 80% Franklin, 20% Teddy, but they're putting full effort into the Teddy stuff, which is something that I always felt that they weren't doing before. So again, highly recommend Snowfall. I mean, if you're watching this, you're already watching the show, so we're kind of just shooting the shit back and forth. But man, leave some comments, leave some thoughts. But I thought it was a great episode, man. They're doing an excellent job over on Snowfall. So I'll see you guys next week for episode 5. Peace.